Good morning, everyone. I'm Lori Sullivan, Director of Operations at STARability Foundation, and we'd like to thank you for joining us today. We're very pleased to have a webinar series on Social Security benefits in partnership with IAS, LLC. Today's webinar is the last of the series and will focus on SSI and SSDI for concurrent beneficiaries. Before we get started, I'd like to mention a few things. You'll notice that we're muting everybody's mics to avoid background noise. And we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end of the presentation. We ask that you hold questions until then. You're welcome to submit questions via chat in the meantime too. And then I can read through those at the end. And as you know, we are recording today's webinar, and then we'll share the link later on this week or early next week. In case you're new to STARability, our mission is to transform the lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We serve over 375 participants, both in person and online, through our life enriching programs, and we focus on shining light on ability, not disability. You can learn more by visiting our website, starability.org, or by contacting us. Last April, we offered a family forum on benefits and guardianship. Our presenter today, Idela Hernandez, provided an overview of benefits, and attendees asked great questions. Because benefits information, as I'm sure you know, is so complex, Idela offered to do a deeper dive on benefits over a series of webinars, and we're very happy to have her back with us today. Idela is an employment and disability consultant at IAS, LLC. She is a human service professional who is committed to promoting meaningful change in people's lives. Idela has over 20 years of experience in the field and holds a national certification in rehabilitation counseling, as well as a national certification in Social Security benefits work incentives advisor. She provides employment services and benefits work, incentives advisement to individuals with disabilities and their families. So we are very happy to have Idela here with us today, and I will turn it over to her now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very glad that we are partnering as two agencies collaborating to provide this information to our population with disabilities because it's really important. I see that we have four attendees today: Glenn DeLong, Michelle, let me see if I can say that right, Waniker, Skip Giannopoulos, then we have Adrienne Welsh. Welcome everyone to attend this presentation today. And since we are few people only, it's going to be a good opportunity for you actually to have more questions and can review more. May I ask you a question? You can unmute your microphones and answer me. If you guys, what kind of benefits do you have? Do you have both benefits, SSI and SSDI, supplemental security income and Social Security disability insurance? Do you have both or only one? Can you answer in the text chat, in the chat box? Okay. Okay. I don't see any responses yet, but if anybody has only one benefit, let me know, okay? All right, anybody else can say if SSI or maybe if you don't know, that's okay. But if you receive two cash benefits amount in the month, then you have both probably. Okay. Okay, Adrienne, thank you for letting me know, and Skip also. So one SSI, one probably SSI as well. Okay. So seems like no one here is kind of leading into SSDI. Okay, it's good to know because part of the presentation here today has to do with SSDI. Okay, let's then focus on what we have here. And if anybody has any other question, then we can go on that. Okay. Well, today we're going to do the presentation for Social Security Benefits webinar series. Our topic today is, we tried to do a simple agenda. Oh, what is it? Okay. We are trying to talk about SSI and SSDI, the work incentives. And the work incentives refers to what are the safety nets for the individual that is receiving benefits and is returns to work or start working. So that's basically about the work incentives, and also what are the wage reporting responsibilities once the person starts working. Different the responsibility to report are the same, but different rules for each entitlement. That's why we brought this workshop for both benefits. The work incentive for each entitlement, and also going to talk about the wage reporting responsibilities for each entitlement. Okay, the purpose of the work incentives. Let's start with the work incentives. Work incentives, they have several. They have AWIS, which is impairment-related work expenses. And the purpose of this AWIS, impairment-related work expenses, for those that are receiving SSI benefits, is to enable the recipients to recover some of the cost of the expenses incurred as a result of their disability to support for their work. In other words, if the person is spending some money on transportation, door-to-door transportation, because the person's disability doesn't allow him to work, doesn't allow him to drive, then that expense for daily transportation to go to work and to go back home is approved as an airway, as an impairment-related work expense, work incentive. How that works. Deducting the cost of impairment-related items and services from monthly gross wages decreases countable earned income and allows the SSI recipient to retain more on the SSI cash payment. And this is what they do. They have a formula. Social Security has a formula that they go through when the person is receiving SSI, and they will say, okay, we are going to count. They don't count the full amount that the individual earns. They only count like 50% of that, but they also will deduct or override the amount the person spent on approved expenses, like transportation or job coaching, or also medical expenses, co-payments. For SSI, most of the medical expenses are covered 100%, but you never know. In some cases, some items are not covered and the person has to pay something because of the disability and need that in order to work, so it might be approved. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Another work incentive is called the continued Medicaid eligibility. That's section 1619B. And this is another work incentive for SSI recipients. If the person is working after starting receiving the SSI, the Supplemental Security Income Benefits, and for, let's say the person is earning way more than the threshold, that kinds of makes the Social Security amount zero, the probation called 1619B is going to be the act that is going to protect the continuing Medicaid eligibility for that person. And there's a rule and all that stuff. I'm going to click on this link so we can go straight directly to the Social Security website. So you can look into this for a minute. So when you are on your own, you can click in there and see what I'm talking about. Okay. Hopefully we can get the website up. It's coming. Okay. This is the continued Medicaid eligibility section 1619B. A lot of people are afraid of going to work because they really don't care much about the monthly income from the Social Security benefits, but they care about the Medicaid, because Medicaid is what really the person needs to maintain health. And many occasions, the medications are very expensive. So these are the conditions for the persons to be able to maintain the eligibility for the Medicaid coverage. And several things. The person might have to be eligible for SSI cash payment for at least 1 month before they start working. They still meet the disability requirement. For example, the person is working, the person loses the cash benefits because the earnings are way more than the threshold. But the person is still disabled. The person is still eligible for disabilities. The only reason it's not receiving the cash payment is because it went over the threshold. So that person still, by their disability definition, is still eligible for disability. Then the person can continue having the Medicaid. Still meet all other non-disability SSI requirements. When they mention non-disability SSI requirements, they are talking about assets. They're talking about financial, that we all know in order to be eligible for SSI, the person cannot have assets that are more than $2,000. So if the person doesn't meet the financial eligibility, they might remove the Medicaid eligibility as well. So we got to always make sure that the person maintains the financial eligibility, like non-disability SSI requirement. Okay. Another situation is that the person needs Medicaid benefits to continue to work. Some people start working and the condition that they have is not as severe, and they go like 6 months without using Medicaid. That tells Social Security that you don't need Medicaid. So even though you're eligible to keep it, but if you're not using it at least twice a year, that for them is an indication that the person really doesn't need it. So that might be a reason to remove it. So keep that in mind. Okay. So I'm going to close this here and continue with our slides. Okay. Let's go to the next one.
Now, do you mind if I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if they're not using Medicaid because they're on Medicare or a private policy because they're still a minor, is that a problem?
No.
Okay.
No. This is for people that are receiving Medicaid only, or even Medicaid, Medicare sometimes, but then the Medicaid will continue even though the job is allowing the person to earn more than the threshold. Then they take away the cash benefits, but the Medicaid will continue. That's for SSI only. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. These are a list that I took from Social Security website, and I just copy exactly how it was because you can see that there's a lot of work incentives. The work incentives for SSI and SSDI. Some here are only for SSDI and some all are for both. And I'm gonna explain to you the subsidy and special conditions. These are also considered work incentives. And this is specifically for people that have SSDI. When someone is working and with disabilities, of course, and that person needs extra help in the workplace, or needs someone that is kind of the go-to person, or the individual has to be called into the office to discuss any concern in person, or need to have a job coach. This is considered subsidy and special conditions. And this is very important to know, because when Social Security does the work review to determine if the person can continue on benefits or not, one of the forms that they send is called work review, work activity review. And that form is really, really important, because if the individual is receiving this kind of support in the workplace, it's necessary that the employer complete that form, or at least the employer is aware that you guys are going to write down in that report that he does have the subsidy, that he does have the special conditions in place at work. Because that means security is going to kind of use that kind of percentage in subsidy and make a calculation of the real amount that they will count. And so if Social Security doesn't count the whole amount, because they look into subsidy and special conditions, that means the person is not reporting, Social Security is not counting the full amount of earnings. And that helps to maintain benefits. Okay. Unsuccessful work attempts. This is only for SSI. I don't know why they have here SSI eligible also, because that's not for SSI, it's only for SSDI. Unsuccessful work attempt. For people on SSDI, when they go to work, they do have 9 months that they can do what is called the trial work period. Trial work period, TWP, is a work incentive that if the person starts working over that amount of the trial work period, they're going to start counting, okay, the person who worked for the first month, the trial work period. And this year, the amount is, I believe, is 1,010. So that's the number for SSDI. They go to work, and if the person earns more than that, they will count one trial work month. And the first work incentive is 9 months of trial work. But sometimes the person goes to work and makes a big amount, like around $2,000. Wow. But then the following 3 months, the person only made $800, so didn't get to the amount. So that first one, that the person earned way over the trial work period, is going to be considered unsuccessful work attempt. So they will not count that first month. Confusing, but I hope that I get the point. If anybody has anything to say about it. Okay, and this is for SSDI, people that are working on SSDI, and the first month being over the threshold for the trial work period, but then the following 3 months not making it to that level, then that first month is not going to be counted as the first trial work. It's going to be considered unsuccessful work attempt. Okay. Let me make a pause to go to the next one, because it's a lot of technical vocabulary here. So the next one is impairment-related work expenses. And we talked about it. And I'm going to go later to a list of the approved impairment-related work expenses that are accepted for either one, but for SSDI, okay, we have more. Examples of deductible and non-deductible airways. We're going to talk about that as well. And because there's some areas that are not deductible. And for example, we can talk about that right now. What are non deductibles expenses? Sometimes people say, well, he pays for vitamins because he gets multivitamins at the store and he gets that once daily. Well, anything that is not prescribed by the physician or the specific doctor is not going to be accepted. So in regards of medication or any kind of prescription is approved, the co-payments or whatever. But if anything that the person just used because he wanted to use it, that's not going to be considered an airway, an impairment related work expense. Okay. Another section here that is another work incentive is continued payment on their vocational rehabilitation or similar program. For example, if someone, a young adult is attending school, and after high school, the person is, well, after they turn 18, they are supposed to get, for example, a medical review to determine reconsideration to continue disability benefits. But the person is enrolled with vocational rehab. Having the student enrolled with vocational rehab is a kind of protection that they will waive any medical reviews, okay? And the person is not going to be responsible to pay anything. In the meantime, they're working with vocational rehab. So when vocational rehab closes the case, then they proceed with a medical review, and it's effective as the time that it was closed from VR. Okay. Any question there? Okay. Another work incentive is expedited reinstatement. This specific work incentive is for SSI, SSDI. And that means once the person is already terminated benefits because it was working for 5 years and the person didn't get any setback on the health and everything continues being fine, the person's case is pretty much terminated benefits. The person has 5 years after they lose cash benefits because they're working. They have 5 years that they can go back to expedited reinstatement. So I just had a case yesterday that is working and has been out of cash benefits for about 4 years because she was doing absolutely great, working as a store manager, everything was fine, but now she got sick again and she had to quit the job. So expedited reinstatement is going to happen right there. She goes to Social Security, applies for expedited reinstatement, and the following month she's going to start receiving the check again for 6 months. And these 6 months are going to be paid, no questions asked. In the meantime, then they proceed with the new medical review. Okay, this is not a new application, but they will do a medical review. And in the meantime, they're going to be paying you for 6 months the same amount that you are in entitlement. So that's a great work incentive for people that are receiving SSDI and they want to, and they need to go back to work. And if they need to go back to benefits again. Any questions here? Okay. Oh, we did that already. Okay. So let's gonna talk about the work, the impairment related work expenses for the SSDI program. So this is SSDI is more complicated. If anybody here is receiving SSDI, I'm gonna go in and talk about it. But if not, I'm not gonna do it because this is very complex. And if you guys are not receiving SSDI and you're not working, there's no point. I need to know.
So what do you have to do to get SSDI?
SSDI is an entitlement that is available for individuals that have worked and have contributed to the disability insurance. That's what it's called about. The SSDI is Social Security Disability Insurance. This is the program that when you work and you have the work credits, then you're eligible for disability. Okay. So if the person is receiving these disability benefits and the person goes to work, then there's a lot of work incentives here and impairment-related work expenses that I want to discuss. But these are specifically for SSDI program. And if we don't have anyone receiving SSDI here, so I don't want to get into this. If anybody's receiving that, let me see the chat. Okay. I don't see anybody having SSDI, so I'm gonna skip that. If anybody has it, please feel free to speak up, okay?
So my daughter is on a full-time student waiver where I think she can work as much as she wants without having it reduce her SSI benefit. Is that right? Until she's 26?
Okay, she is in school. How old is she now?
She's 21 in a transition program.
Okay, the age is 22, not 26, 22.
Okay.
So she can earn, I'm gonna go over that. That's called student earned income exclusion. The
Okay.
student earned income exclusion allows the student to work to a good capacity. And I'm gonna go show you the limits because there's no as much as she wants, but there's a limit. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. Returning to work. These are the responsibilities. No. Let me see if I have this here. No, we're talking about reporting benefits already. Let me. Okay, the student earned income exclusion. That one is not here because that was a topic that we addressed in the transition SSI for transition students. So I don't have it here, but I can definitely talk about that specifically when we finish the training today. Is that okay with you?
Yep, that's great.
Okay. Student earned income exclusion. We're going to talk about that. All right, so now we're going to move over to the changes that are necessary or that are mandatory to report to Social Security. And a lot of people say, well, nobody told me that I have to report. The person starts working and nobody reports to Social Security. Then eventually comes a letter of overpayment. And now you're like freaking out because nobody told you that you have to report or he has to report. But yes, they in every single letter that they send you from Social Security, at the end, you know, they have so many pages with general information that you might get lost in the process and you say how much paper they spend. Anyway, they have information at the end of the letters about the responsibility to report. Okay, so the person has to report any instance that changes happen. For example, changes in the living arrangement. If someone moved out of the house permanently, or someone moved into the house, you have to report it. If the person is working and there's a change in the earnings, for example, oh, I got an increase of $1, increase in my pay rate, that has to be reported as well. Like changes in the wages or net earnings from self-employment. If this is for an adult, if the spouse's income is increasing or decreasing, also have to report. If you're married and living together, the part also have to be reported. If this is a child and the parent's income is fluctuating, they also have to be reported every month. Changes in resources. Any change in resources, including, this is for adults that are married, the spouse resources. If you're married and living together, or if you are living with the parents, also have to report the child, the individual's assets. Remember that anybody that has benefits after the age of 18 and they're living with the parents, they don't have to report the changes in the income, in the parents' income, because at that point, when they become adults at the age of 18, the parents' income and resources don't count against them anymore, okay? So let's go to the next slide. Continue talking about the changes that are mandated to report. Death of the spouse or anyone in your household, change in marital status, including same-sex relationships, changes in the school attendance, if you are under the age of 22. Yes, if you're under, and this is about the student earned income exclusion. If the student is working under the age of 21 and there is a change in the school attendance, it has to be reported. Change in legal alien status, sponsors, spouses, all that stuff. These are the things that are mandated to report. So now we're going to talk about how to report. How to report. They do have the website that everybody knows, that you can go into myssa.gov. And when you go to myssa.gov and create the account, they do have a section there for you to report electronically. You can send a copy of the pay stubs electronically. And but it doesn't happen that easy. You will have to communicate with Social Security and provide the employer's information first. So once they add the employer's information in the system, then you will be allowed to report and to send the copy of the pay stubs electronically. And it's not an easy task, but that's an option. They also have the toll-free number, which personally, I don't trust much, because sometimes we call and we provide the information over the phone, and the following month or 3 months later, they say that you haven't submitted. So I don't trust that 100%. It could be done. What I'll do, I give the name of the person that is taking care of the phone call, if you decide to do it over the phone, and also ask for the employee's number. That's the only thing that you can do as record keeping, okay? You can also go to the Social Security office, which everybody hates. Okay, but it's something you can do as well. There's something that I always wanted to explain here, and that is, if someone is reporting wages, but also has impairment-related work expenses, that has to be reported together with the wages, so they can do the calculations. Unfortunately, if you report your pay stubs online through the my SSA.gov account, they don't have any provision there for you to actually report the expenses. What I do with my clients here, we do a monthly wages report that also includes the expenses report, because they want it to be provided together, but none of the venues that they have available to report has any feature for you to report together. So I decided to do the report paper and submit a copy via regular mail, or you can go there and drop the envelope. And that's, to me, has been the best way. Usually they don't do the calculations of the expenses in a monthly basis. Most of the time they wait to the end of the year or once a year, depending on whenever they do that, and they do the whole recalculation and say, oh, okay, this person spent this amount in airways, and we have not taken that into consideration. And they do the recalculation, and then they send you a check for whatever they owe you on airways. Okay, usually it's like 50% of that. So that's about how to report. Any questions? Okay. Questions for from anybody here? Okay. So it seems like that's our presentation for today, because the presentation for today was very short. Was for talking about the work incentives, and now also how to report. Since student earned income exclusion is also a work incentive, I'm going to add it here, but that's specifically for students. Students from the age of 18 to 21 that are attending school and also working. If you allow me to, Lori, can you help me here?
Yes, would you like me to bring up the very first presentation that you did?
In the first presentation, we have that. So if you can
Okay,
put that
yeah,
up,
if you could just give me a minute, please, I'll take a look for that.
yeah, share that so we
Okay.
can go over that. Mhm.
Just one moment here.
While that's getting pulled up, in order to qualify for SSDI, you've got to have what, 12 quarters of at least about $1,500 of earnings in a quarter. Is that right?
Okay, let me get the document for the work credits. Hold on. And I think that we also have that in the first presentation that Lori's going to pull it up. One quarter in 2024 equals $1,730. So we can earn 4 credits a year.
Yeah.
And each credit is 1,730. If you earn that times 4, 1,730. 6,920 a year, then you earn the 4 credits for the year.
But it's got to be that 1730 has to be in each quarter though, right?
1730 has to be on each quarter, or some people only work, for example, 6 months, but they earn 6,920 in those 6 months. That person already had the 4 credits.
And they'll get 4 credits for that. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be earned in that specific quarter.
And they have to get their 12 credits before the age of 24 or before they turn 25.
Okay, the age of 22. The young adults are eligible for, hold on, let me go and look at here. Hold on.
So you should have control of the screen.
Mhm.
And I do want to mention, because I just admitted somebody, Tony, that Tony, we ran through the main presentation, but we're looking back at an earlier presentation for information about students who are working.
Can I have control of the
Yeah, let me, so you should have control, but let me just make it in the large
okay.
view here, and that might be easier for you. So one moment here, please.
So we have several questions. We're talking about the work incentive for the young adults that is called student earned income exclusion. I can talk about that, and then I'm going to switch over to the work credits, okay? Student earned income exclusion. Here's the information.
Oh, okay. I don't want to do that to me. Well,
And here's some more
that's
things.
where
Okay. When this is the condition for the student earned income exclusion. the person has to be regularly attending school, and that means the person is attending school, here's the whole condition, in college or university for at least 8 hours a week under a semester or quarter system. If the person is in grades from 7 to 12th grade for at least 12 hours a week, also apply for the work incentive. If the person is in a training course to prepare for employment, for example, project search, the person is attending school and also working, and that's going to be also approved for the student earned income exclusion. Okay.
And what about like summer vacation or spring breaks where there's no school during that week? I'm assuming that's,
That's a good question. So security will ask, are you planning to come back the next school year? And if the answer is yes, then that will continue.
okay.
If the person completes school and is not returning the following school year, then the benefits stop.
And either way, they stop at age 22.
Correct.
Okay.
So let me see here. Okay. Okay, here is this was from last year. The income exclusion for working students under the age of 22, it's not 25, not 24, it's 22, is 2,220 per month, but no more than 8,950. It's not, and that is 2023. Let me tell you the one for this year. Hold on, because every year changes the same thing with the cost of living adjustment. The student and income exclusion. Okay. Give me a one. Okay. This year is the 2,290. And instead of 220, 290. And then for the year, instead of 8,950 is 9,230. You follow me?
Yep.
Okay. So those are the thresholds for the student earned income exclusion that your daughter, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so she can work up to that amount. Usually they don't make it to that amount because they are in school and they work very little. So most of the time we say, yeah, she can work, no problem. But there's a number. Okay, so we don't want to just give false information. There is a number, a top, that after that, then she will have to use the calculation and use the impairment related work expenses and see if they can reduce the amount that they will deduct. But this is absolutely excellent for students. And now let's see, I'm gonna go back to the, okay, I wanna go to the work credits. This is another one. This is an example of the SSI calculation sheet. Let me open it up. When someone is receiving SSI and is working, this is an example of a calculation. So if you see here, they use the gross earned amount, and they also use the impairment related work expenses. And in this case was 250. And at the end of the day, they say, okay, I cannot see the bar there, thank you. So at the end of the day, there's the estimated SSI payment for the following month. It's gonna be 276, even though the person earned 1,000. So it's a calculation, and I have a copy here for you guys to use if you need it, okay? Lori, I was thinking that maybe you want to share this presentation with them as well, because it has a lot of information that they really need. The presentation for today was not really for all the attendees, so this one is more. Okay.
Sure, I would be happy to do so, and then I'll also share the link to our YouTube channel that has the full recording from the first webinar.
Okay, so the wage reporting responsibilities, we talked about that in the past for the young adults in the first meeting that was last year. And more information is the same thing that we discussed today. One thing that for SSI recipients, they have to report the wages the following for this month. You have to report it the following month by the 6th of the month. So a lot of people don't know that, but it's really important that you understand that for anybody that is working on the SSI, the reporting day is the 6th of the following month. Okay. How to earn the work credits. Here we have another link that you can also when you get the presentation, you can log in and go online and see more about that. It's really important about the work credits. Yeah. If someone is, you see, no more than 4 credits per year, that's the top. For young adults, until the age of 24 or 26, let me see, 24, they can, if they earn 6 credits, they will be able to, before the age of 24. So if the young adult is under the age of 24 or to 24, they only need 6 credits. So I always say, get them to work as soon as possible so they can qualify for SSDI and also Medicare, which is better for the medical expenses. Okay, so this is a good thing. Good information for you guys to go over as well. Okay, let me see. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, great.
Yeah, my daughter, she worked. She was like in her 30s. She worked part time, like a day, maybe 2 days a week,
Mhm.
which is like not even full days, like 4 hours each day.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and she did this. Her epilepsy got to the point where she couldn't physically do the job anymore. So she quit working, and at that point, they never brought her wages back up to where she was at before she tried to work. Is there some reason that wasn't brought back up?
Okay, what benefits she's receiving? SSI?
SSI, yeah,
Okay, so there's two things that come to my mind when you said that she's getting paid less.
yes,
So she got the SSI reduced when she started working, correct?
yeah. They took
And then
out.
then
Yeah,
she stopped working and she has never gone back to the initial amount.
no,
Have you gone to Social Security and explained this to them?
no, I haven't. I just happened to think of it.
And what about reporting that she stopped working? Have you ever reported that she stopped working?
No, just no, I haven't. Just her
Well,
W-2s. Yeah,
you have the answer.
okay,
When you don't report, but they have some evidence that she was working, they will continue using estimated values.
okay,
So what seems to happen is that they have been paying her as she is still working, even though they're not getting any wage reporting. So my suggestion is to go to Social Security office, get prepared to spend the whole day and say, okay, I'm gonna spend the whole day, but I'm gonna take care of this today. And you're
Yeah.
gonna explain this situation. Maybe the representative that is in the door, in the window, might not be able to help you because this is something more specialized. That will be a person in the back. Maybe you need to make an appointment with someone that is aware, is knowledgeable on this thing, but you're gonna explain that you are looking for advisement or for guidance to review her benefits because she's not working and she's receiving the same reduced amount that when she was working.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
will have to do the recalculation and pay you back what they owe you.
Even though it was just a very small amount she was making, she was still working, and I assumed by turning in her, report from the store, they would automatically assume that she's not working. So, assuming something is not right, I'll go do
Yeah.
it in person.
Yeah, they need to be even though you're notified, they make mistakes. Imagine if you don't notify them, they will be using estimated values, for the amount that she's earning, assuming, and then getting all these deductions, but they owe her money. The good thing is that you have a little savings account right there.
Okay.
Eventually, they're gonna give you a lump sum. Okay,
All
good.
right. Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions?
Would you be able to talk a little bit about ABLE accounts? Are you comfortable talking about those?
I can talk about what I feel comfortable with.
Okay,
Okay. The ABLE account is a protected savings account that when someone is working and receiving SSI, we always have to be very attentive to asset protection because if the account goes over $2,000, then we have an issue, right? And the issue is if Social Security catches that at any point in time, that the account is going over $2,000 consistently, they will stop the SSI check and also the Medicaid for 12 months. That's the penalization. So in order to avoid that stressful situation, and the ABLE United has an account that it works like a money market account in reality, but it also like a checking account. It's not a bank account. It's a special protected savings account that you can do it online. You got to go to ABLE United and Florida ABLE United. Make sure that if you do that, that you use the correct website, because I have seen other websites that says ABLE United and also are private and they're charging $100 to walk you through. So that's not right. I can definitely share the website with Lauren so she can share that with you. Okay. This account, you can put money there and have a cap of $100,000 per life. And they have I think it's $8,000 per month maximum that you can put in there, or maximum for life of $100,000. And that helps. That helps because this is a less restrictive account. Like if you have a special needs trust, that account is more restrictive. You cannot take money out for whatever like that, whatever reason. You have to, it has a lot of clauses and rules and regulations. The ABLE United is more flexible, and if you need to transfer money to your checking account, it's easier to do it online, and there's no penalizations on that. Okay. And this is not an account that you put there pre-tax money. No, this is a money that you put there from your checking account. You transfer money over there every month, but it's going to be kind of invested with little stocks and stuff, something that you're going to choose which kind of stocks you want to invest on. And at the end of the day, the money start accumulating because it earns some interest. And also, if you need any money, you can take it out. There's no penalization on that. Okay. So ABLE United is a good tool to have and protect assets to avoid disability determination denial, okay? For financial resources. Sure. That's what I feel comfortable saying. That's it. Anything else, it should be addressed with an attorney or a CPA. Mhm. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I think let me go back to the other presentation we had. I think we were done with that. Just
Sure,
yeah.
did you want me to bring that back up or?
No, we're done with that.
Okay,
And I just wanted to make sure that even though this one was kind of the leftover pretty much, we went back to the initial presentation, and it's because I want to make sure that the people that are here really get the information that they need.
sure. And did you catch Michelle's message here on chat? What should I do? Since my granddaughter started working in February and I don't think we reported it. She's 22.
I didn't see the shot.
She just sent it a couple minutes ago.
Okay. Well, if the person started working, the first thing that we need to do is to report the wages to Social Security. My recommend is your daughter using public transportation door to door, or you are providing transportation to her?
Michelle, you may need to, if you're trying to speak, you'll need to unmute yourself, please. There you go.
Okay. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Oh, Michelle, we're still not able to hear you. Maybe you could write in the chat.
Okay. Why should I go? She's 22. Okay.
Let's see here. She usually takes her granddaughter.
Your granddaughter. Okay. Yeah, I see the text now. Well, we need to report. We need to get the pay stubs and go to Social Security office. If you want to have a meeting with me, I can give you a complimentary consultation for half an hour and give you some more ideas about how to actually approach this. There's something called Notice of Change in Earning Status that we usually create. It's a form to let Social Security know all the details about the new job. And then after that, start providing the monthly wages report. Michelle, is your granddaughter receiving SSI or SSDI? If you know.
She
Okay,
put SSI.
SSI, yeah, SSI is very restrictive, it's very difficult to deal with because you need to report by the 6th of the month of the following month. And if you don't report, they might stop benefits. So if you want to have a meeting with me, I can definitely give you half an hour as a complimentary consultation and give you the 1, 2, 3 steps of how to do that. We do the form that has all the details for reporting, and then we also have do you see the Excel calculation sheet that I uploaded there? We have that, and then we make sure that all the expenses are also included in the reporting because we send the wages, the earnings, and also the expenses. So they don't deduct everything out of the check. Okay.
She's saying she would like to meet with you.
Oh, she said that she hasn't seen anything today. Okay, well, we're gonna get together, and I'm gonna make sure that you have what you need. Take care of your granddaughter, and don't get in trouble with Social Security because they might stop her benefits, and that's not a good thing. Okay.
Yes. So I brought up your contact page here, Idella.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's my contact information, Michelle. best recommendation is to send me a text to my cell, and that's gonna be faster for me.
Okay, she's
Good
saying
time.
she can't see it for some reason. Do you want to give her your cell number? And then Michelle, I'll be sure to go ahead and send you if you haven't received the slides that I sent emailed out, I'll be sure to send those to you.
Okay, you can write down my cell phone number is 954 area code 790-4399. That number, I have it for about 30 years. My sister gave me that number when she was living in Pembroke Pines, but I live in Naples. I've been living here for 26 years, okay? So I'm here.
And are there any other questions today?
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and send out the link to the recording once that's available. I will also go ahead and send out